when you were writing the book and when you're kind of compiling this, you have so many great stories of both successful businesses. You have stories from entrepreneurs. You have stories of like actual weeds and kind of like the scientific breakdowns and the Latin. Tell me about the process of like, compiling that information and some of the research that you did while you were writing this book.
Oh, well, I was just having an absolute blast with this book because I'm learning. Well, you go through this discovery process, and I was interviewing, let's say, I started out, I just interviewed a really eclectic group of people. So the first interview I did was with a master gardener. The second one was with T. Boone Pickens. You might not remember, but he was a billionaire. Remember hearing about the show Dallas?
Yeah.
If that show is based on his life, he was one of the original corporate raiders. And so he, in the oil business, so he would go after these oil companies with hostile takeovers and take them over. I'm sure that they were going, when the management of each of these companies, I'm sure they're saying, oh my God, this guy's a total weed, but not in a good way. It's just like, could this guy please go away? Was a total weed. He passed away a few years ago, but he was the second one that I interviewed. I went to Dallas and met him, and the guy's a legend. We're talking about how throughout his life, so the same preset model that the weeds do. It's really, really amazing. So I ended up interviewing a lot of, all these different experts in various areas of business, particularly B2B businesses, and then a lot of business personalities. Kathy Ireland was one of the people that I interviewed. My God, what a sharp person. She's so incredibly smart. Well, this is a big compliment for me. She's a total weed. And she said she'd always felt like she was a weed, actually. So I had a blast with this book, and I'm having a blast post launch of the book because I've been applying weed strategy to my business and to the book. And I've had just they're surprising results. And I don't think they're the kind of results that I would have reached on my own. I mean, I'm pretty expansive in my thinking, but I don't think I would have come up with quite the direction that the weed strategy model has taken me. And it's pretty cool to watch it happen. It works.
Yeah, and I'm curious about a post after this book's out. You're already getting feedback. You're already hearing back from, stories of people applying some of these things. What are some of the principles that people are like, oh, wow, I didn't really process it this way, and it helped them make a breakthrough in their business? I'd love to hear maybe some of the stories.
I mean, first of all, people will listen to this interview, I suspect, and they'll say, when they go back out into their yards, they'll say, oh, that's what they're up to.
Yeah,
because they're incredible. And I think what I should do is I should explain what the model is, and then we can look at pieces of it and how those have been applying. So I'm going to talk about some things that'll be kind of crazy, like weed mindset. It's the first one I'm going to talk about. That is not about guys sitting around, going, wow, man. It's not about a bunch of guys smoking doobs. But the weeds, the weeds don't have brains, but they certainly have a mindset. They're optimistic, they're resilient, they're aggressive, they're urgent and adaptive, and I left one persuasive. They're certainly perseverant. And one of the big parts of their mindset is that they are absolute natural collaborators. Like everything they do is in collaboration. It's incredible what they're doing. So anyway, that's the weed mindset. What weeds do, the model is that weeds thing that they all do this, they all leverage a fierce mindset and unfair advantages against collective scale. And they do it according to a process that is honed over millions of years. It's alive. It's adapting all the time. It's their evolution, but it's adapting all the time to new challenges. All that time, it just gets programmed into the next generation's DNA. So they all run the process. They don't have to be trained in it. That's why they're so darn effective. I mean, they've got this crazy, crazy fierce mindset. They're always using unfair advantages or force multipliers. Maybe it might be a way to understand that. And I mentioned that they're never doing it alone. Basically, they're always doing it at scale. And then they're running this process that's programmed into their DNA. I mean, they just run it like a computer runs a program. No wonder they're so efficient. So that's the model.